Good morning. Welcome back. This is a very exciting session. A session on agriculture without borders. And that takes us towards the South-South collaboration. And I think South-South collaboration being talked at every platform. It's very important. The collaboration from the perspective of learning from each other rather than reinventing the wheels. The resources are scarce. We cannot have everything everywhere. But I think we can make use of what is available where. It's all time and money which drives the agenda. The collaboration for agricultural technologies, innovations, but the collaboration for trade. And I think this South, all those global South countries, there is a plenty to learn from each other. And there are different platforms, there are different forums who are working on South-South learning. But I think we can do better, and we have to do better. We have to bring people together in terms of improving the efficiency and taking those actions faster, because time is critical and we can't afford to delay. India and Indian leadership is always committed to the South-South. You might have seen the G20 under India's presidency, where our Honorable Prime Minister have brought in the African Union as a part of the G20 membership, which is focusing on the South-South collaboration, South-South learning. There are many platforms which are working on the South-South collaboration. And I think when we talk about agriculture without borders, we are also talking about transboundary issues. And we have to deal those transboundary issues. We've been taking initiatives, for example, in India, the Seeds Without Borders. And there are examples between India and Nepal, for example, a bit on the Bangladesh. I think we can do better and we can do more. Now, to deliberate on this particular topic, I have all great experienced, diverse group of panelists, the experts, the 5 of them. And to start with Mr. Indramani Pandey, who is the Secretary General of the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, BIMSTEC. Welcome, Dr. Pandey. We have Mr. Victor Villalobos, the member of the World Food Prize Foundation Council of Advisors and Special Envoy to the Secretary of Agriculture, Government of Mexico. We have Mr. Riyaz Hamimutullah, the Honorable High Commissioner of Bangladesh to India. Mr. Govind Prasad Sharma, the Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock Development, Government of Nepal. And Mr. Namgyel, Honorable Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock, Royal Government of Bhutan. So, such a diverse group from the Global South to deal with this partnership. And to start with, let me come to you, Mr. Pandey, based on your experience on the BIMSTEC, and we see the challenges of market volatility, the tariffs on the trades, the geopolitical tensions. So from your perspective, how can South-South collaboration can help the global South countries, or specifically in Asia, to safeguard our food systems?
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity.
I don't know whether it's working.
A very good morning, fellow panelists and to the distinguished audience. BIMSTEC, the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Cooperation, embodies that spirit of South-South cooperation. In today's global geopolitical context, the South-South cooperation has become more important than ever. For two reasons: one, North-South cooperation has waned. Secondly, the countries from global South have the capacity, resources to cooperate with one another, and that's something which has been underlined by all the speakers since morning. BIMSTEC as a regional organization was created in 1997 with Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka and Thailand coming together. It was an expression of countries from South Asia looking towards East and countries from Southeast Asia trying to look westward. And this platform then was joined by Myanmar within 6 months, and then Nepal and Bhutan subsequently joined it. I'm very happy that in the panel we have High Commissioner of Bangladesh, but also distinguished members of the government of Bhutan and Nepal. Today we have our own charter, a very vast agenda of 17 sectors for regional cooperation. We have our own core and sectoral mechanisms. Although it's not very well-known organization, we have negotiated a number of conventions, number of agreements among the members, memorandum of understanding. We have also created centers of excellence, and there are proposals to create a number of other centers of excellence in future, which will then provide the core of regional cooperation. Countries in Southeast Asia and South Asia, they face similar challenges, including in agriculture sector, and the audience here, which is very well informed about the challenges that we face in agriculture and allied sector. So I would like to briefly highlight what BIMSTEC has been trying to do. From the very beginning, agriculture and food security was placed very high on the agenda of BIMSTEC. We also have related sectors of fisheries and livestock. In both the sectors, we have already negotiated and agreed on action plan. Just 4 months ago in Kathmandu, agriculture ministers of our 7 member states met together, and they decided on an ambitious course of action for future. There are 4 very important proposals which were discussed at that time, and they are being implemented. The idea of creating a BIMSTEC food reserve, a BIMSTEC seed bank, cooperation in climate resilient agriculture, cooperation to enhance intra-regional agricultural trade, and also to create a network of research and development institutions of BIMSTEC member states. To anchor all these areas of cooperation, India, which has been leader in agriculture research and development and innovation, which has been talked about since morning at this platform, India has offered to create a center of excellence for BIMSTEC for cooperation in agriculture sector, and that center once created will become the fulcrum for cooperation in this regional context. So to underline the point, sir, that you made, that countries in Asia and Pacific are even beyond countries from global South. We need to work together to address multifaceted challenges that we face, including in agriculture sector. You spoke about India's leadership of global South. I think since 1970s, when we started our ITEC program, we have trained thousands and thousands of professionals from different countries. We have offered capacity building. We have created infrastructure in other developing countries. And now the developmental partnership of India is considered one of the important ways globally to concretize South-South cooperation. BIMSTEC as a regional organization bringing together South Asia and Southeast Asia is ready to provide, embody the spirit of South-South cooperation in the regional context, in our own region, which is very important for us, whether we look at neighborhood first policy, whether we look at Look East policy, whether we look at Prime Minister's Mahasagar policy. Cooperation with countries in our neighborhood becomes very important, and that is where we have BIMSTEC playing its role. And I'm very happy to represent BIMSTEC here. Looking forward to working together with all the international and regional organizations present in the room. And here I would like to mention one institute which is located in this campus, which has office. IFPRI has been our partner for a number of years, and we are already working together. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Very, very good insights from the BIMSTEC's perspective. Let me change the time zone. And so, Mr. Victor Villalobos,
Yes.
from Mexico, we see the climate crisis across the world. And I think everybody talks about climate smart agriculture or climate resilient agriculture. And I think in that context, the technology and knowledge sharing, especially in the smallholder systems, is very, very crucial. Now, from your perspective, from Mexican experience, what should be the strategies and pathways in terms of that knowledge and capacity sharing, technology sharing, to deal or combat with the climate crisis?
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you mentioned, today the challenge that we are facing are enormous. Changing climate, degraded lands, water scarcity, and limited access to finance and technologies for our smallholder farmers. In this evolving context, South-South collaboration is not just an option, it's a necessity, as you mentioned. Countries across Asia, Africa, and Latin America must come together to define homegrown solutions that are resilient, that are inclusive, and also scalable. We have done those before, and we should not forget that. The history of the Green Revolution is a testament of the power of South-South collaboration. It was not a one-way transfer of technology. It was co-creation. Icons like Norman Borlaug of CIMMYT and M.S. Swaminathan of ICAR worked hand in hand to adapting this innovation for local farmers at the local context. India, Mexico, and the Philippines were not a passive recipients. Actually, they were active architects of this transformation. Today, we should and we must build on that legacy. The Global South is rich in agrobiological diversity, indigenous knowledge, and context-specific technologies. We share similar agroecological and socioeconomic conditions with uniquely positioned to exchange innovation that are not only relevant, but necessary. One such example that I would like to share with you is Masagro, a flagship initiative that was created in Mexico and led by CIMMYT. Masagro has successfully brought together farmers, researchers, and policymakers to co-develop and deploy climate-smart technologies, improve soil health, and enhance productivity. Can you imagine the possibilities if we connect Masagro's experience with India's vast agriculture innovation ecosystem? Together, we can co-develop solutions for climate adaptation, resource use efficiency, plant health management, and more. So this is a technology that has been already been proved, and it is being exported already to Central American countries, and we have to say also in some African countries. With this vision to become a reality, we need more than ideas. So we need to implement, and we need to collaborate together, and this is something that we should proceed and we should implement. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think if I take only one word from your experience, it's co-creation. And I think when we talk about the South-South, it's not like imposing something on someone. But I think we together need to co-create, and that co-creation is the key for the collaboration, a true collaboration. Now, going to the coast, back to Bangladesh, Mr. Riaz Hamidullah, I think again, coming back to the climate, but more of from the perspective of the coastal areas, the sea level rise, the salinity because of the climate crisis. And I think a lot of issues in those areas. So from your perspective, how can the South-South collaboration can strengthen the regions, and when I say region, the Asian regions, self-sufficiency in terms of food and nutrition, and also helping the livelihoods of those smallholder farmers?
Thank you. Having been familiar, as many of you in the room, about global South-South framework for almost now 5 decades, and Bangladesh being pretty active, has also been interested in the whole domain, I'd like to make 3 to 4 points straight away. First is the kind of way our countries are engaged, including from Asia, including from Africa, in the whole South-South framework for quite decades. We need to really see that how we can bring things that deliver with impact, that are gainful, and then also that interest everyone on the table. One thing that we realize is that we cannot and should not engage or pursue the project-oriented cooperation, possibly need to shift the gear in terms of engaging more by nexus. That exactly, Mr. Secretary, you mentioned. So we would like to see that not only for Bangladesh, but also for most other countries, in terms of a nexus of nature, water, and farming together, whatever we need to do. And the question then would be that what kind of interventions do we shape that delivers with impact? One thing we realize, even being a country that generally is known to be water endowed, we are more increasingly concerned and worried about water future. Let's face it, for practically 7 months of the country, Bangladesh remains dry, which doesn't often occur to our minds. So water efficiency is not simply water efficiency, but also, for example, what salinity which is creeping our aquifers in the coast as well. And here I'd like to bring technology. Our understanding of technology is that technology will be something that will be coming, or it's possible on the shelf. We would like to broach the idea that can we make something like technology bazaar work, not only for the companies, not only for the countries, but also for the small and marginal farmers. Quite often we tend to forget them, 70% of our countries, and also that for the fact that they are the end recipients, and they also mostly work on informal economy. These are the two things that we need to see, that how do we make technology beneficial, receptive for them, and then they can adopt. And also, what then could be the role of cooperatives in the whole scheme of things across the global south? Second point would be that the whole space of small and marginal farmers. And I have something here with you to show you, which you may like to look for later. Small farmers atlas globally. It's fascinating. 3 years back, a Dutchman came to me and said that, we know that Bangladesh is suffering big in terms of salinity, but I have solutions which can work economically for a small farmer in down south in Bangladesh. I wouldn't explain that, but then I realized it's apparently very simple. Only question and issue is that why isn't it traveling down to that small and marginal farmers or that household where they need. So the need is there, everything is there, but how do we create that pathway? For last 4 to 5 decades, the way we have seen the global South-South framework working, possibly we need to really think deep down, not simply in terms of working in for profit, for the global corporates, for the big market, the private sector, but particularly the end users. That's why I said upfront that we need a new menu which is not only to be attractive, gainful, but with impact. My last point would be youth. 52.2% in Bangladesh right now is under 35, youth, young force. But most of them, even coming from a farm household or a farmer's son, children, they're not interested to go back to the bread-baking farming. Question issue would be that how do we create something? And that's why we are increasingly looking at the startups, for example, and they're making a lot of correction in terms of correcting the yields, limitations, gaps, particularly when we look at the farming or production verticals. I need to explain that, but this is not only in terms of cereals, but also in terms of livestock, fisheries, and horticulture. Horticulture is something quite often that's missed out, but again, there is just so much of need that can do magic in terms of when we infuse them with technology and innovation. So I again connect with what I said. Can we and how do we create something like technology bazaar for global South, and maybe breaking down maybe something in South Asia or interface of Southeast and South Asia, if not also with interface from North, global North, for example. Again, I think someone said that technology doesn't respect any border. It just flows, even if we do not facilitate sometimes may not recognize. So I'll close with the thing that the co-creation that sir you said is something that we need to infuse and see that how can we really co-create not only among the farmers farming to communities, but also the real knowledge holders. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, great insights. Now, going to Nepal, Mr. Govind Prasad Sharma, you are an experienced administrator and a policy planner. And I think policy drives so much in terms of that partnership or the collaboration. So from your perspective, what policies or the framework would potentially enable this South-South collaboration to help the smallholder farmers?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for these very pertinent questions. This has been a long discussion of the issues. I would like to focus on some of 4 or 5 points where the policy or the framework need to be concentrated, particularly in the global South conditions, because we have some similarities and differences. The first, what I would like to focus is agriculture should be in center, and bring all the stakeholders, all the partners together in one place, have an effective collaboration and partnership. And partnership can bring synergy in the development for the development of the agriculture sector and for enhancing the agriculture sector in general. And when we talk about the global South, private sector is demonstrating a very good performance. The private sector are emerging. They are doing better, and they are supporting governments and also to the farmers. So we need to have a synergy with the private sector, because private sectors, they are a bit faster in technology adoption and also in promoting business and also promoting market. So what we would like to focus is like a strong connectivity with farmers and stakeholders. The private sector can be another approach, because the global South has already demonstrated, and it also supports the farmers. Coming to next point, I would like to focus on capacity enhancement, because each of the country has their own capacity, their own specialty. So exchanging the capacity enhancement through exchange of the programs like the Masagro model in other countries, how we bring the Masagro model in South Asia, or how the South Asian experience of mechanization, biodiversity conservation can be brought to other countries. So this can be sort of the exchange will develop some methodology, some approach that bring foster in making the agriculture to the wider sector of the community, and also it brings the connectivity. So capacity also help to can be made through the exposure visit, scientist visit, university networking with the universities and the like. Another important, very important point I would like to focus is this word is of digitalization. Digitalization that help to in the production, in the development of technology, in the dissemination of the agricultural technology, and also the problem-solving approach. Because digitalization, without digitalization, like just in the morning session, our Vikas Bhai from the Punjab well mentioned how he has demonstrated the effect of the digitalization, how he has been motivated through the internalization of the digitalization, not only to solve the problems, but also to forecast for the future of the agriculture, like forecasting weather, where the problems can be sorted out, where the farmers are well prepared enough. So digitalization, we cannot leave digitalization. And to attract the youth, attracting thousands of millions of youth in agriculture, digitalization could be a very strong tool. And finally, I would also focus, like this platform where we are gathering here to discuss on the past issues, the present context, and future policy interventions. These type of policy interventions, this type of policy dialogue bring us together and provides a critical pathway how we're going to focus the agriculture sector in the global south in the future. I think these 4 or 5 policy intervention would be appropriate to focus for the broader dissemination of the technology and attract thousands of and millions of farmers in the global south. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Finally, our last panelist, coming from a beautiful country, the country which is known as nature-friendly country, and Bhutan got excellent experience on nature-positive farming. So from that perspective, I'm requesting Mr. Thinley Namgyel, the Secretary of Agriculture, Bhutan, for sharing the experience on the nature-positive agriculture, which the whole global south can learn. I think there is a lot that can be learned from Bhutan.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And as you rightly mentioned, Bhutan has been following a slightly different development path, which I don't know, maybe some of you are aware, based on the philosophy of cross-national happiness. So basically, the idea is to ensure that whatever we do in terms of a socio-economic development, we don't overdo on one particular aspect. So we try and maintain a balance between economic development, social development, cultural development, and environment conservation. Also, because of our very strong conservation efforts, and in fact, our constitution actually mandates Bhutan to maintain at least 70% forest coverage at any given time. So because of this very conscious policies we are probably one of the few carbon negative countries in the world. And in fact, we have made a global commitment to ensure that Bhutan always remains carbon neutral, at least. Let me give a very brief background in terms of the agriculture itself. Bhutan is a very small country. We just have about 38,000 square kilometers. And out of this, like I mentioned earlier, about 70% is covered by forest. So for agriculture, we have about 2.9%. That's all we have for agriculture. In terms of population, we are about 750,000. I believe the population of Delhi is about 34 million, which is almost about 45 times the population of Bhutan. In terms of food security, currently we are largely import driven. We depend on imports for our food security. For instance, in 2024, our food imports were almost about, of course, very small compared to many other countries, but for Bhutan it's huge, 13 billion rupees, whereas our export was just about 3 billion. Also, in terms of economy, agriculture contributes about 14% of the GDP and employs close to about 42%. So, agriculture is a very important role in agriculture in Bhutan. But like many countries, I think Bhutan is also facing big challenges in terms of climate change, uncertain weather conditions. Also, one major challenge that we are facing is probably because of our success in terms of environment conservation, the impact of human-wildlife conflict. Our farmers lose about 30 to 40% of what they produce to human wildlife. So things are monkeys and deer and so all kinds of things. So that's why focus of our government has currently been in terms of trying to address some of these immediate challenges that we face. And for Bhutan, we have been fortunate to have a good friend and neighbor in India who has been supporting Bhutan in a lot of our agricultural effort in terms of the irrigation, chain link fencing and all that. Also, as part of our the collaborative effort, very recently we have signed an MOU with Government of India to work together in agriculture, livestock and allied. So we are hopeful that with this kind of collaboration, we should be able to address a lot of the challenges that we face today, and hopefully some of these things can be an issue of the past. So thank you very much.
Thanks much. I think now we are reaching towards a point when I am going to request you all for a 1-minute intervention from each of you, which is a rapid fire, on your suggestions on very specific actions for the South-South collaboration. So I start from you, Dr. Pandey.
I would like to mention that we talked about technology transfer, technology sharing. So BIMSTEC is creating a technology transfer facility. BIMSTEC is creating a technology transfer facility in Colombo, and that could help in sharing of technologies in agriculture sector too. We have already taken the initiative of creating a network of research institutions of our member states. So that should provide the framework also for exchange of ideas, knowledge among our scientists and sharing of technologies. So BIMSTEC is an organization which is committed to South-South cooperation in South Asia and Southeast Asia, and we are as a platform very committed to take forward cooperation in agriculture sector too.
Thank you. Our next one.
We have South-South is essentially more of a space determined, shaped, and steered by governments. But very clear from the interventions and all that we need to allow, facilitate, nurture, support with different ecosystem if needed for the disruptors. One disruptor which is very recent is the startups, and we are seeing them. One example is something called iFarmer. So how do we and how can we facilitate them, let them come and, if I may say, occupy this space, not from out of fear. And second is that technology. Technology is a fantastic thing. It is needed. We need technology. Technology providers, knowledge holders are there. But why is it not happening? So let's truly look at the frameworks, not necessarily from the government, but more from profit, as also from the social well-being point of view, and see that if the technology holders, knowledge holders can come. That's why I said about technology bazaar, for instance.
Next steps.
Yes, thank you. For the first time in agriculture history, we have the access to a box of technologies. I'm talking about artificial intelligence, I'm talking about robotics, I'm talking about biotechnology, including genome editing, I'm talking about other set of tools. So we are now, we have access to all these instruments for the first time. However, those instruments are in publications, are in the centers of research, are in many different ways, but it's not the access to the farmers. So we need to connect the knowledge, the innovation, the science with the farmers. Actually, as Norman mentioned, take it to the farmer. So we need to strengthen the, all the facilities that can facilitate this connection. So extension is a way through which we can really, in South-South collaboration, we can really take advantage, because we have experience in many, many, many countries about that.
Yeah, I would like to focus 4 points. Irrespective of the borders and countries, we need to focus farmers at the center and their problems at the forefront. Second, Global South has enormous unharnessed potentiality to cite some of the examples: agrobiodiversity, indigenous knowledge, natural resources. So we need to focus on those resources, on those priority. The third one is focus on emerging issues like climate change, global warming, so depleting soil condition, productivity, scarce water resources, depleting agrobiodiversity. We need to focus on these points. And last, we need to recognize the mutual recognition of the mutual technology and potentiality of each other, and share for betterment of the farmers. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think the problems faced by countries on our part of the world are very similar. Also, now we have reached a stage of development where many of the countries in the neighborhood are not what it used to be. I think we have a lot of experts, scientists, technical know-how. So I think now we have to break this physical barriers and then work together to address the challenges that we face together. So I think our dialogue today is timely, and hopefully we will be able to come up with meaningful collaboration as we move forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone. Thanks the panel for all the great contributions. I think we are coming to an end. I'll take a couple of minutes to wrap up this panel discussion. I think when we talk about South-South, one of the important aspects which by and large emerged is what is already available, which is sitting here and there, how to make use of that. So that needs a synthesis of knowledge and technologies, and how to make use of those technologies for the farmers. And that essentially need someone to drive the agenda, maybe putting together a compendium of those knowledge and technology products. The another one is on putting together the best practices of the learning from different countries and organizations across the global south. That's another one. For example, you mentioned about the Masa Agro example. We have other examples here. How to put those examples together so that people can learn. I think the technology transfer, the farmer access to the technologies, the real-time delivery in the tech era of AI and on all those digital innovations. Again, we need to learn from each other, and that's where the collaboration is important. I think we also need to think about it just not the public, but I think the public-private partnership in this whole gamut of the South-South is something important, and we have to bring on board all those players who can play important role. And when we talk about private sector, knowledge and products can be available, but until there is a capacity, there is a manufacturing, there is other aspects, I think we will not be able to make a case or the impact. So the public-private partnership is also important. The one of the aspects from the next steps side, I feel like in this whole collaboration, I think the farmer-to-farmer learning, the farmer-to-farmer exchange is also very, very critical. How the farmers, smallholder farmers of India and Mexico and Africa, they can share their knowledge, and I think the farmers' belief is more on the farmer rather than anybody else. So I think that could be a very good instrument for this collaboration. I think from the government of India's side, government is very much committed. We have this program called Dakshin, launched by our Honorable Prime Minister, which is towards the South-South collaboration under Ministry of External Affairs, where government have invited even the proposals, and there are a lot of capacity development events happening, bringing the participants across the global south. So I think we can make use of some of those initiatives of different government together with these the regional fora or the platforms like BIMSTEC and others. And but I think we really need to make a stronger case rather than just talking south-south. We truly need to make it a reality. With that, thank you so much for your contributions, and thanks so much for your patience hearing. And thanks to the organizers for the opportunity. Thank you.